Hello everyone and Happy New Year. Welcome back to my channel. This is Liberty and I am a little bit late to the game of posting this video because like everybody else in the world, I have been really sick over the past few weeks and I completely lost my voice and I have been waiting to feel at least a little bit better before I posted this video. My voice isn't completely back yet, but it's almost there, so just kind of bear with me. So I do have a new reading journal set up and I got another Archer and Olive 8x8, which I have had in the past. I did one back 2 years ago and I love this one, and I did a entire year's flip through and I will link that down below in case you're interested. Last year I didn't use an 8x8 and I was not happy with it, so I'm really glad that I picked up this one. And I will admit that this video is completely inspired by two people. One is Manda Made. She did a beautiful setup and it was completely pirate themed, and I just love the idea of having a theme for your reading journal. And I didn't want a pirate theme, but I did want a nature themed. And I also kind of copied some of the spreads from Plant-Based Bride because she also has beautiful setups, but I did give a little bit of a twist of my own flair on one of the setups. So this should be really quick. I decided not to film the setup because like I said, I have been fairly sick over the past few weeks, so I'm just going to do a flip through of what I have going on here so far. So again, I'm going for like a nature themed, and I love this cover, and like I said, this is an owl on a stack of books, so I thought this was kind of perfect. And the inside had this nice foil leaf on it, so I didn't feel the need to cover this because I thought this was beautiful in itself. And I just wanted to kind of just introduce the reading journal. I obviously went crazy with a distressing tool, which I will talk about a little bit later. As you can see, the edges of my papers are distressed and colored, but I'll go over that at the end. So I just wanted to put a little intro to my journal. So I just put Liberty's Reading Journal 2025 with some washi tape. And I took that same distressing tool. It's basically this thing. Let me grab it here. So it's this distressing ink with one of these. You kind of stamp it and you kind of like just go all over the page, and that's how I did the edges as well. So moving on, I love this idea of having kind of like your reading goals at the beginning of your journal. Again, I saw this on Manda Made's and it was a brilliant idea. So we each have different reading goals for the year. So mine were read 50 books, join an in-person book club, because I've been doing them online and I can honestly say I just joined one, so I can already mark this off my list. Read at minimum 1 hour per day. I know there are some days where you have like a long day, you come home and you get lost on social media and next thing you know, it's time for bed. I am going to try to turn that around this year. Take a bookish vacation in the mountains. I'm thinking in the fall, I want to rent some type of Airbnb and I want to grab a nice cozy book and just have a nice reading weekend in the mountains. So this won't be until the fall. Read a series. I know this doesn't sound like a big reading goal to a lot of people, but I'm not a big series reader. I don't know why, but there are some series out there that I have been interested in. So I at least want to read a series this year, or at least start a series this year and try to find something that I'm really excited about. So I really wanted to find something that I'm really kind of excited to read. And then the last one was tackle the intimidating books. And by that, I mean all my books that I have that are over 500 pages. I want to finally read them this year. So this next spread here, I just wanted to kind of do a little collage and a little quote. It says, "Between every two pines is a doorway to a new world" by John Muir. And that's how I feel about books. Between every two books is a new doorway to a new world. So I thought that was really appropriate. And again, the theme to my reading journal is nature and books. I want the whole journal to be naturey and bookish. So I'm trying my best to kind of incorporate those two worlds. So I am calling this spread Under the Canopy, and I will say I'm kind of proud of this page. This took me a long time to get together. I'm not an artist, so it just took me a while. So what I did on this side of the page is I included an index on how I experience the book, whether it's physical, audio, if I read on my Kindle or Kobo, because I do have both. And I gave myself a bookshelfie of 55 books just in case I read more than 50. And I love how I did this. I wanted my bookshelfie to be very organic looking, almost like a library that you would find in the woods somewhere. And I wanted the shelves to be like the branches of a leaf. And I wanted my books to be very organic looking because last year I used a ruler, but I just kind of did a very loose sketch of the books, and I'm really excited. So basically each time I read a book or listen to a book, I will color the book and I will use the color that I put in my index. And all these are just the numbers of the various highlighters that I am using for each one here. So that's how I'm going to do this bookshelfie. So the next spread I am calling Opening Leaves, and it's a play on words for opening lines. And I see a lot of people on YouTube, they will write the first line of the books that they read. So I kind of want to just write the first line of each of the books that I read this year and see how they stack up against one another. And again, I have an old book that I like to use as ephemera. Again, everything that you see, I have distressed the edges with that distressing tool, and I kind of like just put some distressing edges or distressing colors throughout the page of the book, just so it looks like an old book that you will find kind of in the woods somewhere. And I also have these wonderful leaves. They do stick up a tiny bit, but it's not that bad, so I wanted to have them in here, and I just think it's really pretty. And I also had this beautiful stamp. I believe this is a chickadee on a pine tree, so I thought that was really cute. So this spread here, but these next two spreads, I should say, again, this was heavily inspired by Manda Made, and I'm calling this side Foraging, or actually my book haul. So each time I buy a book this year, I will write it down here. And I have so many books, like all of us. I have so many books. I literally have no more room on my bookshelf, and I'm starting to put books in my closet, and I don't like that. So I'm going to be very intentional this year about the books that I buy, or at least get them on my Kindle or my e-reader. So these are the books that I will buy this year. And then this side are for books that I either didn't like, or a 0, or just did not finish. And I'm calling this Lost in the Fog. And I did put a little sticker up here, and it says, a comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. So I'm really proud of these two spreads. I think it looks really cute. And by the way, I have this antiqued paper that I used with my printer, and I did all of these fonts in Canva, and the font that I used was called Berkshire. So I thought that looked more naturey font, if that makes any sense, than compared to the other fonts. So I just reminded me of like a little Hobbit font. So I thought that was really cute. And then the next spread, as we talked about in the beginning, I joined an actual in-person book club, and it doesn't have a name, but I am lovingly naming it Leaf and Lantern, which I just love. So I hope this sticks. That's what I'm calling it, and I'm sticking with it. And what I did here was I just cut out a card for each month, and I will print out the book cover and paste them here for every month, and then I might give it a little star rating underneath so I can keep a track of all the books that my book club comes up for the year. So I have the full year here, and I'm really liking this spread quite a bit. I think it's really, really cute. And I obviously had to put my little pine cone here, and I love the ephemera that I use. Maybe I'll link it up here really quick. This is the most beautiful nature themed ephemera or scrapbooking paper that I've ever used. I'm almost out, so I will be repurchasing this because I just love the colors. It's like muted nature colors, and I absolutely love it. So the next spread I am calling Woodland Wonderlust. Now, I don't do a ton of reading challenges. I know a lot of people do a book bingo, or they'll read the covers with the first letter of the alphabet, things like that. There's so many different reading challenges. I don't really participate in a lot of them, but I do like the Reading Around the World challenge. I think this is super fun. And so I printed out a map, and this is from last year actually, and every time I read an author from another country, I just highlight that country. So I don't have that many yet because again, I just started this last year and my last year reading experience was just awful. Not because of the Reading Around the World Challenge, but I didn't actually read that much last year. A lot has happened. We're not going to get into that right now. But so I only have like a handful of authors that I read from different countries. But we're going to start off strong with the new year. So I really like this page, and I had some really pretty stamp stickers that I kind of put all over the page. And if you want to download this for yourself, it's from freerollmaps.net. So you can print out a different size, you can print out like a different color of this, but I really like this idea. Plant-Based Bride does this a lot on her channel, and I love what she did recently. She actually pre-colored all the countries that she read before she printed it out, so they were already highlighted. So I really like the idea, but obviously I did this before I saw her video, so not a big deal. I still like it. It didn't take me that long to color this in, but I really do. This is one of my favorite reading challenges. It just opens you up to new authors from around the world. And the next few pages, I'm calling Forest of Covers. So basically, every time I read a book, I'm gonna print out the book cover and just kind of paste them right here. So all the books that I read for the year, I'm just going to just incorporate them into the next few pages. And I gave myself a few pages to work with just in case I run out of room. So just wanted to kind of give it, again, this nice forest theme. I just love these colors. I used the old book, distressed all the edges to make it look a little bit antique-y or something that's been sitting in the forest for a little while. And then my last spread, which I've never done before, is a book bracket. Again, this is from Plant-Based Bride, but I did incorporate my own little flair to this. I am calling this Leafy Legends. So this will help you decide what your favorite book of the year was. So the idea with this is that I have 12 brackets up here. So you write your favorite book of each month up the top, and then they kind of contend against one another, and it kind of just goes down into the bracket. So this should hopefully end up being the favorite book of the year. And again, I added some leaves to like the bracket here. If I was more of an artist, I probably would have made these look more like branches, but I was afraid of messing this page up. This took me so long to do, and I was just like, all right, I'm not gonna mess with this. I'm gonna keep it very basic this year. And of course I added some mushrooms and some pine cones, and yeah, those are all my favorite things. So I wanted to show you something really quick about distressing the edges. If you want to distress the edges of your book, or of the pages, I should say, I have this distressing tool by Jim Holtz, and it has like little blades in here. So all you do is you take this and you kind of like rub it along the edge of the pages, and it kind of distresses it. And then I took this distressing ink and kind of just went on the edge of it. So if you want to do that for yourself, that's something that you can do. Anyway, so that is it. That is my reading journal start for 2025. Hopefully I inspired you to maybe create your own for the year. And until next time, guys, cheers.